with my lighting right now. I have the slate over here, but I can't put it there. I wish I could put it up there, but I can't. I can't hold it up there either. What to do? What to do? These are first world problems. Put it over here. I don't know. I don't have the beautiful sunset to light my face, but whatever. Hi, Deb. Come out, wherever you are. So I'm still a little bit congested from my cold. I feel a lot better. Hi, Darla. I can breathe again. I'm not too stuffed up. My nose is not running anymore, so I have braved this winter cold like a trooper. And I'm starting to feel like myself again, which is good, because I do not like to be sick. Hey, LaDonna. Hi, guys. I'm just gonna play some stuff that we can hear. These are just reels, but you know, I do feel so much better, Deborah. This is interesting. This is just a reel. I'm just gonna play it, see what this girl says.
One of the Epstein documents released today is a list of allegations related to President Trump. Now, this list was compiled by the FBI last summer.
Oh, this is
Many
CNN.
of the allegations appear to come from
unverified tips. Yeah, CNN, of course, wants to say that the Epstein files show that Epstein repeatedly took. Yeah, it's all about President Trump, right? It is really not about President Trump at all. I'm actually really tired of hearing these grotesque stories about Democrats and then have them turn around and start screaming that it's Trump, it's Trump, it's Trump. It's not. It's not. And I think you guys know this. And we need to be honest now, because it turns out that there are literally monsters in our midst. The monsters are political leaders. The monsters are wealthy individuals. Yeah, Trump, I don't think he was ever really a pure Democrat, but he did, he cut all ties with his Democrat friends. Well, with Epstein, before, I mean, like in the early 2000s. So it wasn't Trump. It's another wrap-up smear. Actually, I have to debunk that one, LaDonna. The wrap-up smear is when you hear Nancy Pelosi talking about the wrap-up smear. She is actually explaining what she says the Republicans do. She's not saying that that's what the Democrats do. She says that is actually a Republican tactic. But we all know that it is, if it isn't both sides, it's definitely the Democrats who did that too. So, hello, Gloria. So we know for sure that they both do wrap-up smears, but Nancy Pelosi, well, I don't know how anybody believes any of these people. Let's talk a little bit about George Bush Sr. So, and also, like, I can't even with this information. I don't know who is human. Which one's human? I'm thinking that some of these people might not be human. Hi, Danish. Yeah, it's really deep. And I gotta say that I started talking about this stuff way back in 2015, like during the first Trump election, and when the yes, Trump is human. Trump is definitely human. The other ones I'm not so sure. Um, During the election, or right before, actually, we found out about the Podesta emails. Um, Tony, I think it was Tony Podesta, and his brother John, and the two of them were exchanging these emails. Thank you for reporting the disgusting people. I appreciate that, Darla. Because seriously, I've had just about enough of the pigs. There are men out there that are like so horrible. And yeah, Danny, you're so right about that. Put Nancy and Chuck out there. Agree. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Fred. I guess I should wait to really get into this situation because I see people coming on. So I will let my audience build a little bit. But I just want to say that I feel like my vindication is almost here, if not already here. Well, I mean, until I have certain people say, "Sorry, Jill, you were right about everything," then I'll never consider myself vindicated. But um, I have been watching. I watched the Clintons rise to power when I lived in Switzerland. I saw I saw government turn into something that I had not really understood before. When I lived in Switzerland and I saw the Clintons, and we went through the Monica Lewinsky scandal, and we went through the O.J. Simpson scandal, and there were wars breaking out in Slavic countries all around me. I know this because refugees were coming into Switzerland, and I was dealing with that a lot too. And I'm still working on 7 years in Switzerland Danish. That's a tough one to write, so I'm still working on it. I hope to have it finished. I don't know. I'm going to take this week and really dedicate myself to it. In the Ohio River Valley region, we've gone 27 days below 32 degrees. It's going to warm up next week. I hope so. Yeah, how about that weather, huh? People are saying that that's geoengineered, but we're not supposed to believe that, right? We're not supposed to believe anything that our lying eyes tell us. But when it comes to pizza fence, I'm taking the word gate and I'm using fence instead. And I can tell you this because it's probably an AI that's looking for me to say things like pizza fence. 65 degrees. It might even be warmer than it was in Florida today. I don't know. It's been cold in Florida too. And I didn't even go out today because I've had this cold and I'm feeling better. And I thought I'm really recovering and maybe I should take a day off of running around outside in the cold, especially when I think that's why I caught a cold because I'm not used to being cold. But it always warms up, you know. Weather comes, weather goes. However, we are finding out that certain entities can control our weather and maybe are doing that too. High techs. So we are finding out a lot about people. I don't know. I don't know where to start with this because I've been talking about this for so many years. And many of the people watching right now, you guys who have been following me for the past 10 years, will remember that even before COVID, and I warned you about COVID, and I told you it was coming. I didn't know that that was what they were going to do. I just knew that they were going to do something in order to, and Darla, if you could check out the review messages, I just don't even want to deal with them. But sometimes they're good, so that's why I do look, because you never know. Anyway, I appreciate your help. Yay for the mods. Oh, that was a bad one. Okay, good. Because I don't need to see, I don't need to see the disgusting people. I'm so grossed out in so many ways by the news. You're the best, Darla. Yeah, I'm sorry increasing your paranoia. I know, James, I know. It's not fair. It's not fair. And we Americans are treated so badly. I do want to diverge into another topic. A friend of mine, she's my age. We went to high school together. So she's 60, maybe even 61. I'm not sure. No, she might be 59. I don't know. She's around the same age as I am. And she has Deborah started following me in 2020. Yeah. Yes, and I told you everything, didn't I, Deborah? I told you all the truth. Um Okay, so anyway, this friend of mine I went to high school with, she has horrible medical problems. She needs a urostomy bag. And if you don't know what that is, let's just suffice it to say that she cannot urinate on her own. She has some very, very serious medical issues. She's an American. We grew up together, and she is being treated so badly, hi Barbara, by the government and everyone around her too. But what especially makes me angry is that she is on disability insurance, and all of a sudden they just cut her off, like for no reason. They made a mistake, and she got this letter saying that she was not going to get any more money, and she's in dire straits. I mean, I don't know how much longer she can hold on with her situation. It breaks my heart. But I just want to say, people like her are treated so badly, people who really need help. And we find out that scammers, they can even get caught, they can get convicted, and they can keep up the scam and not even get any jail time. I mean, it's got me just like beyond angry, beyond angry. I think about when my husband was dying, and you guys remember that. Those of you who've been following me this long, and you remember that I was his only caregiver, and we lived in a ramshackle farmhouse, and we couldn't even afford to pay rent there for the ramshackle farmhouse that actually had a hole in it. A hole in it. I'm pretty sure there was black mold. I'm pretty sure it was not a nice situation that I was living in with Ray, and I can talk about it now because it's over. But um the only income I had was doing Facebook shows, and thank goodness that Facebook was monetizing me then, and I was able to bring in about $1,000 a month. But can you live on $1,000 a month? It's, it's not very much. Even when you don't have to pay rent, it's still not very much. And I asked for help from the Office on Aging because my husband didn't have to go into a home or anything because I was taking care of him. So I thought maybe they could subsidize that, help us out. No, no, no help for me. No, nothing at all. Nothing at all. We didn't even qualify for SNAP payments because I was, making $1,000 a month, and that was just, that made us too wealthy for any kind of help. So no help. And then my husband died, and his friends stole everything they could get and moved into our house. And I was out with no home for the past 3 years, more than 3 years actually. And when I asked for help from that, especially to get back my property that was stolen from me, I was told I wasn't 62, so I didn't qualify for help because I wasn't old enough. Yeah. You guys were there. You know it's true. You were there. Yeah, not illegal. Oh, here's another way in which I've been dissed by my government. When I moved to Switzerland, by the way, and I was there for 10 years, and I had 2 children, and I actually had them naturalized so that they were American citizens too. And then we eventually moved back to America with my husband, who was Swiss, and he got a green card. And the government said, "Oh, you little Swiss family, you are not allowed to come back unless you get sponsored. We want to make sure that you don't take advantage of taxpayers." It's true. And I got sponsored by my grandparents. Yeah. Not only no help from me, but make sure you cannot ever have help. So I don't take money from the government. And I never had. The only time I ever had to do it was when I ended up running away from Switzerland with my two children and the clothes on my back. And I admit I had to do the SNAP benefits for a little while until I got back on my feet. And oh, and then I qualified, but I think I got something like $150 a month for me and two kids. It wasn't no $1 million. It wasn't very much. You know, our system is designed like, so even today I was looking at like maybe I could get housing benefits, right? Or something, some kind of something. And I look it up and then it comes up with that, oh, you have to be 62. Yeah, 60 years old, you still don't get anything in this country. And you have to be 62. Yeah, exactly. It's a hand up, not a handout. And I used it as a hand up, and it was great. When I needed it and I was able to get to it, it was helpful. It was better than nothing, I tell you that. It was also very demeaning, and people made fun of me in the grocery store, and I was not happy to have to do that. I was shamed. I was shamed. And, you know, I got off of it as quickly as I could. Gloria says, I was 59 when I became permanently disabled, couldn't get extra help, medical insurance, so I couldn't pay the bills and had to medically go bankrupt. And the same thing happened to Ray, actually. You know, and Ray was an American citizen, even though he did enter this country as a refugee. I wouldn't say illegally, because Ray was a refugee coming from Cuba, and he was escaping communism, and he was escaping Castro. And thank you, LaDonna. I know, sweetie. If I had $1 million, I tell you, my girl from high school, I would take care of her first, and a lot of other people. Where's my child support? You steady paying on YouTube when little Daquin needs school shoes? What are you talking about, Tracy? I don't owe anybody school shoes. I didn't even get child support, by the way. Yeah. Well, I did actually get a little bit of court ordered child support. I think I got something like my ex-husband had to pay me $500 a month. Can you live on $500 a month with your kids? Pretty sick stuff. So, yeah. However, oh, well, here's what I wanted to say about the housing thing. You look it up and there's all these boxes you can check. Are you Asian? No. Are you black? No. Are you, what else? Something else they wanted to know. Mexican? No. Are you disabled? No. You know, and then you have to, it's like the walk of shame, and at the end you have to check that you're white. Oh no. You don't deserve anything because you're white. You know, it's like it's so rude. You got $189. Yeah. Did that help you out, Gloria? I know every little bit helps. I'm not complaining for getting something, but thank you, Patrick. But it is just you hear about these foreigners and getting thousands of dollars and vouchers for places to live, and $1 million when they open up daycare. They get free daycare. I never got free daycare. I had two kids. I worked. I'm a writer. I was a writer with my kids. I stayed at home and did my job as a freelance writer. And I've been working since I was 12 years old. I never stop. I've always got a project going. I'm just not a corporate worker. I'm not your girl who's going to go, work in the job 9 to 5 with Walmart, stuff like that. It's not what I do, but now I'm thinking maybe I need to. I don't know. And then I look to find a job, and I'm told, like, what's your employment history? I'm like, freelance writer. It doesn't work for them. It looks like, I don't have a boss. I don't like bosses. No, that's not true. I mean, I'll do whatever I have to do, I'm not stupid. Like, I can figure anything out, but applying for a job, it's like feels horrible, and you're just like, I'm freelance. I don't know. Oh, Patrick, I can't retire. I'm too young. Darla says, after my husband died, I applied for food stamps. They go by gross pay, not net pay, and I made $75 too much. Got nothing. Yeah. Yeah. I was working in my daddy's office as a file clerk. That was one of my first jobs. I also worked in a department store called GB's in Pittsburgh for, I don't know, like a winter or something. I didn't do too well there. They thought I was a rich girl, which I was. So it's been an interesting life that we've had here. However, I do want to get back into talking about pizza fence. And you remember GB's? And how we are learning the most horrible things about people who are, you know, like in the government. I've been telling you guys this for more than 10 years, actually. And I've been talking about Epstein for more than 10 years. I've known about him since the 90s because those stories were circulating all the time. I live in Florida, Patrick, and the rumors. Okay, let's first talk about pizza fence. Let's talk about Comet Pizza, okay? Because I have been researching that one like so hard that I even went to Comet Pizza many years ago. And you know, Angel, you're not following the news at all. You're a little late on that. Epstein has nothing to do with Trump, so you know, get over it. Like you're yesterday's news. It's like the people are telling us free Palestine. That doesn't work anymore either. Trump did that, so go off with your bad self. Hi, Terry. And thank you, Radical Coyote. Let's just take a minute. Trust in the Lord with all your life and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him and he will direct your path. That's always great to remember. Absolutely. Hi, Bo. So here's the thing. I went to Comet Pizza. I took up a friend of mine who did not believe what I was saying, and she said, let's go. Well, she lived in DC, and we went there together, and we saw a lot of interesting things. First of all, exactly, Trump is the one who turned Epstein in. They don't want to admit that, but, you know, we know the truth now, so you cannot gaslight us anymore. Anyway, I went to Comet Pizza before it got shot up everything, because I'm reading about Pizza Fence, and I'm like, yeah, I want to go there. I want to see what this place is all about. And the first thing I notice is the disgusting posters on the wall advertising their two musical performances or musical groups. One of those groups is called Heavy Breathing, which had a really disgusting poster of, you know, schmexual things. And the other one was called Sex Stains. Yeah. Would you take your kids to a pizza parlor that was advertising two different bands called Heavy Breathing and Sex Stains and tell you that that is appropriate for all ages? That's what it said. Radical says, I definitely support Trump. I understand he's not a perfect president, but nobody will be. He's definitely doing a better job than Biden and Obama. You know, Radical, I think we are about to find out that Biden and Obama and these people who have been in our government, along with the Clintons and the Bushes and the past 50, 60 years of American politics, that those people are, they belong in jail. No, they belong in worse than that. The things that came out of the Podesta emails implicate All of those people, every one of them. And they say it's a conspiracy theory, but that's what they always say until it is proven to be true. Um, Radical, President Trump is turning the whole world on its ear right now. President Trump is literally showing us what's under the rocks. Don't think for a second that these Epstein email dumps, or not email, but all the Epstein information, all the dumps that are coming out, they didn't want us to see any of this. And President Trump was the one who made them want to see it. He trolled them so hard. He made everybody think. Actually, I think he and Elon were in on it. Remember, Elon? I think it started when Elon, like almost last year, said that President Trump was in the Epstein files, and you might want to see that. And the next thing you know, oh, release them, release them, and all the clapping seals were like, yes, Epstein, Epstein, and all my shows have people like that angel person going, Epstein, Epstein. It just, and now the information's out, and now you're finding out the truth, and it's really dark and disgusting. And how about Nicki Minaj? Like, here's another person who just doesn't understand what's going on. I mean, like, are you a bot? Are you stupid? Are you watching the news? Or what's wrong with you? I just don't understand. Like, you're so dumb. It makes me laugh because I don't know. I can't take these people seriously. Trump is one of a kind. We will never be this lucky again. Oh, Patrick. I think that we need to be this lucky forever and ever. I think that we need to take all of the information that President Trump is uncovering for us and turn our country around and realize that we have been literally in the clutches of evil, of terrible, terrible people. Hi, Amy. And we need to be in daily prayer, not just for President Trump, but for all of us. For all of us. I feel like everything needs to be abolished. They've turned our government into a human trafficking operation. And if you don't believe that, then let's wonder, where did those 200,000 kids go that Biden lost? That's a real thing. They lost more than 200,000 children. And those are just the ones we know about. Support ICE 100%. We voted for this. And it is despicable to see people actually wanting to help criminals stay in our country. What is wrong with you? You use the word racist and everything to try to shame us into wanting these criminals to be in our country. Well, if you're going to call me racist, guess what? That word doesn't mean anything to me anymore. I think that I'm going to give racist a new meaning, okay? I think it means somebody who is telling the truth. So go ahead and call me racist. I'll take it. I don't really care. You can call me whatever you want. It doesn't matter to me at all. Because you are lying, constantly lying. Or maybe you don't even know. 65,000 migrant kids called the helpline and were ignored. Thank you, Bo. Exactly. And President Trump has been saving these children since before 2016. My first time seeing you here. I'm glad you're here, Patrick. I'm glad you're here. I hope that you will like and subscribe. That would be great. This one wants me to grow up. Oh, at 60 years old, I'm unlikely to ever grow up. I won't grow up. I don't want to wear a tie or a serious expression in the middle of July. If growing up means it would be beneath my dignity to climb a tree, I'll never grow up, never grow up, never grow up. Not me. Do you guys remember that song? So, you people who are new, Patrick, for instance, I do break into song regularly, so just be prepared for that. I'll just start singing because All the words are in my head. Welcome, Steve. Good to see you. So, exactly. Sorry, I've still got a little bit of the cough from my cold, so bear with me here. But I'm feeling a lot better. So, anyway, um, when the Hillary Clinton Podesta emails came out, we were told not to look at them. We were told that that was a crazy conspiracy theory. But everything that was said in those emails was so weird and disgusting. And we all learned that the FBI had uncovered these code words for children, like something like pasta was for girls and pizza was for boys, and or hot dogs and just all this thing. Well, now I think when we find out that these people use food as a euphemism for children, tells me that there's a correlation, like they might be eating them. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. I'll be fine. I think that the truth is now coming out in cascades, and that a lot of people need to be held, let's say this, they need to be held accountable for their crimes, and also for gaslighting the American public into not taking these allegations seriously. Yesterday, I watched an interview with a woman who had been abused by Epstein, and she was very emotional, and she told her story. She made me emotional because you could see she was really suffering. She was embarrassed. She felt like, she'd been taken advantage of, but she was somehow blaming herself. Just these people are really, really horrible, and they don't just abuse their victims, but they're actually abusing all of us and telling us all that we shouldn't believe what we know to be true. Okay, let's go back to Comet Pizza, and let me tell you, hi Daniel, how I found Comet Pizza, how I went there, and what I found when I was there. Okay, so I told you about the two musical groups, Heavy Breathing and the Sex Stains, and their posters looked exactly like what you would think, and they were really disgusting, and not something I think children should ever be, not just exposed to their music, but just the names of the bands, and their posters were really gross. So that bothered me. Then the second thing, yeah, Nicki Minaj is telling it. That's right, Deb. Then the second thing that I noticed, so my friend and I, we got a table, and we were getting our pizza, and sitting there, a man sat down at the booth next to us, or the table next to us, with a little girl. And as we're looking around, we see a lot of men with little girls, just one on one. So anyway, this little girl had noticed that I was wearing these shoes I used to always wear. They have all the 10 toes in them, they're funny looking. And children always notice my shoes, and they always say something. They're always like start laughing at me. It's funny. But anyway, this little girl had noticed my shoes, and she was laughing at me. And I looked over and I noticed that, and I said something to her, and the man she was with said, "Oh, she doesn't speak English." And he didn't. I said, "What language does she speak?" He says, "Portuguese." And he didn't speak Portuguese. And he was not talking to this little girl because he couldn't, because she didn't understand English. But he wasn't like her dad or anything. He didn't look like her. She was about 9 years old, and he was just sitting there having pizza with her. And my friend and I were like, that's not normal. And like I said, they weren't the only ones. We noticed that there were quite a few men with little girls having pizza. Just the two of them. It was pretty weird. All right, Gloria, catch the replay. Love you. So anyway, my friend, she agreed with me after she saw Comet Pizza and the creepy things that we saw there. And the bathroom had a lot of strange graffiti in it. I don't remember exactly what it said, but it was like you wouldn't let a child go into that bathroom, like, you go into a really disgusting bar and the graffiti is like, oh, they're just saying horrible sexual things. So that's what it was like in the bathroom there. And and the pizza wasn't very good, by the way. It's supposed to be the best pizza in town, but it wasn't. And just everything about it was just really sketch. And then there was a Buck's Bait and Tackle or something down the street, and that place, that was at that time it still had the symbol for boy lover or whatever they do. And thank you to my mods. Thank you, Darla, for working hard to keep the creepers away. I love that about you. Thank you. Yeah, it doesn't just take away my appetite, Deb. It makes me incredibly angry. Let's not forget, in the emails we also found out about Obama having a pizza party. No, it was a hot dog party where he spent tens of thousands of dollars on hot dogs that were brought to the White House, and a lot of children there. I'm in Louisiana. A man tried that in a restaurant down here. They would get handled. So, do you remember the guy that shot up Comet Pizza? This happened just a few weeks after I was there. And it was very interesting because he didn't shoot at any people. He didn't hurt anybody. He shot out the computer that had all the files in it. They lost their data. Isn't that an interesting way to be angry at the pizza parlor that might be trafficking children, to get rid of all the evidence with your gun? Just nothing adds up about it. And you can look at the all the information coming out right now, all the Epstein files. Yeah, Nicki Minaj is telling the truth. We're learning about all of it. So you probably don't want to know. You don't want to believe it if you're a Democrat, and those are the people that you've been voting for. But and then also a really bad thing, and I'm going to talk about this too. So everyone knows, I'm Jewish. My last name's Cohen, right? I've never been to Israel. I don't really know that much about Israel. I have Israeli friends, of course, and stuff, but I'm also a devout follower of Jesus Christ. So I accepted Jesus in 2018. So I'm a Messianic Jew, but I don't have anything to do with Israel. However, I do have to say that one person who is in the Epstein files, and this needs to come out big time, was Ehud Barak, the former prime minister of Israel. And from the research I've done, he's right up there with with the information that we're getting about George Bush. Like these are people who do things to the little ones, and really nasty, really violent, really nasty, horrible stuff that is so bad that I can't even talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't even want to think about it because it's so, it's so cringe. Yeah, absolutely disgusting. But we have to admit that this has happened. We have to admit that these people think it's okay to behave like this. And so for those of you who think I'm wacky and you don't, yeah, Peach, I'll bring up all the names. For those of you who don't want to believe any of this, I need to remind you that this trafficking, these organizations have been going on for a long time, and many of them have been caught. So none of this is conspiracy theory, it's conspiracy reality. So let's talk about Allison Mack and Nexium. And that was back in, I think, 2015, 16, 17, when all the proof came out about this organization with And oftentimes it's a woman who is perpetrating some of the worst crimes. It's men and women, and it's like the women are helping the men. Um, let's talk about Chrissy Teigen. She's some kind of, I never knew really who she was. She's married to some guy named John Legend. I don't know who any of those people are, but I do know that, again, back in 2016, 2017, she was using Twitter and putting out like horrible things, saying things that were so disgusting that made you wonder about her. I mean, even saying that her mind was so dirty when she looked at children that she wanted to put herself in jail. Uh, and we have R. Kelly. Yeah, turned out that he was a really bad hombre. Recently, the Diddy files. What about that? There's so many of them. Peter Nygard. Okay, that guy, the Canadian dude. What did he run? Was it the Limited, or one of those clothing stores? I forget which one it was. Or what about Wexler working with Epstein and Victoria's Secrets? And Peter Nygard, I think he was not American Eagle. Can't remember. My daughter worked there. Just it's beyond disturbing. And I feel like I'm really glad that my kids never got involved in this. But, you never know. You never know who is a child predator around you, because they're everywhere. I'll tell you another story about that. So, speaking of my kids, my son, when I was living in Pittsburgh, my kids were teenagers, and I was a reporter for the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. So there was a story about this new area where they were opening businesses, and it was really great. And one of the businesses was an ice cream shop. And I was interviewing the owner of the ice cream store. And his wife was actually she was a teacher at the high school, and like home ec teacher, My daughter had her. And so the husband and the wife were there, and they were saying they needed some kids to work at the ice cream shop, and that the wife was hiring kids from high school. And my son was in high school at the time, and I said to my son, "Hey, that would be a great job for you." And he agreed, and so he started working at the ice cream store. And he was working there for a few months, and one day he calls me freaking out, Mom, my boss is getting arrested." And I'm like, "What? Why?" It turned out that the ice cream man had been molesting two little girls who lived next door to him. And the way that he got caught was he had been messing around with the older one, and I guess he had been doing that to her since she was like 10 years old. And she got older. She was in middle school at the time. And I guess she outgrew him, and he started going after her little sister. And she got jealous. And she told the guidance counselor about it, because she was so upset that he wasn't paying attention to her anymore. And that's how they found out what had been happening to the two little girls. The ice cream man, okay? And he fought those charges, and he even, I think he got off on it. He didn't get off on a technicality, but he got like house arrest, slap on the wrist, slap on the wrist. And he was like charged with like 52 counts of abuse of these children. And it was to the point where the ice cream shop's still running. My son continued to work there, and the wife and the son who were working there continued to defend the father, who was clearly guilty. So yeah, it's bad stuff. I don't usually talk about this stuff, but we need to confront it. We need to understand that it's true. You can close your eyes and you can run away and you can hide, but unless you accept the fact that there are monsters in the world, our children are still going to be in danger. All of the children. I can't see the moon, Joyce. I'm in a house. But I think it's now that we really have to, I want everyone to look at the things that are coming out with the emails, with the Epstein files. Please look at everything and understand that, yes, yeah, by the way, all the perverts are being posted. So, are being reported. Yeah. What do you think I'm smoking? You see all the smoke around me? You are hiding from the truth. Those of you who want to say I'm crazy, you've been saying this to me for years. You also didn't believe it when I told you that the pandemic was really a ruse to get you to comply with certain things. No, Deborah, you're not a pervert. Love you, Deb. Yeah, don't do anything to Deb. Gretchen says, make men men again, make women feminine again, and please, for the love of God, let children be innocent again. Exactly, Gretchen. I believe that one of the greatest downfalls of our society has been the computers, has been the cell phones, has been the internet. And hi, Nicole. And yes, I'm feeling a lot better. I didn't go out today, so I'm laying low. But I want you guys to pay very close attention to all of the news that's coming out. You all wanted the Epstein files, especially you nasty people. You were all about it. So now you get your Epstein files. And now you're going to find out exactly what's been happening. And I don't like to talk about this, and I don't usually talk about this, but you have to at some point, like, realize that you've been accepting the unacceptable. And people that come on my show and say these really nasty things to me, it's because they've been influenced by this disgusting societal scourge that we all find ourselves having to deal with. I'm talking about the Epstein files, Nicole, and I want people to start really looking at them, because it's not about Trump at all. Trump's just the one who told you to look. He's trolled all of you Democrats into really looking at the Epstein files so that you can see the truth, and you can see that it's your people who have been stealing money from you, doing horrible things to children. It's time for us to hold these monsters accountable. And that's not going to happen if you keep saying it's Trump, because it's not. Absolutely not. So, yeah, we can't hide the truth anymore. But it's coming out. The Epstein files are telling us the facts and the truth. And if you're not a Trump supporter, I have to wonder about you. For real. Just like, Nicki Minaj. She said it really well. I gotta find this, what she said. I think it's awful that anybody still is carrying water for Democrats. All right, according to Nicki Minaj, she says, are y'all understanding that these people have been sacrificing children as a way of gaining and maintaining power? If you ever vote Democrat again, you're just as soulless as they are and will perish. Maybe it's time for me to do some story time, since I was trying not to say what I know, yet they continue to attempt bullying. Also, I won't be releasing an album until my contract is renegotiated and until I tell you about all the sabotage this Rico is finding out about. And then she says, billboard. So, the truth is all coming out right now. The mainstreamers still don't want to admit it to you, but it's absolutely despicable. It's worldwide. It's not just America, clearly. A lot of the situations are going on in the Virgin Islands and the islands in the Caribbean. They use those because, islands. Everybody who owns an island is suspect. Richard Branson, who's another one. Johnny Depp. What did you find out from the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? That they do a lot of drugs. And they do a lot of disgusting things. And we may not have heard of like trafficking with them, but Johnny Depp has an island. I don't think they got into everything that they do. I think they're all really, really, really bad. And then let's talk about all of the famous people, all of the stars that you watch on television and everything, and how they all hate President Trump. Anyone who hates President Trump today tells you that they're a criminal. So if you come on my show and you start talking down about President Trump, I wonder, what are you hiding? Yeah. I wonder, are you stupid? Are you a bot, or are you a criminal? That's everybody right now who I don't think Jesus loves these people who are eating. I don't think Jesus loves that. No. I think I have to wonder, are they even human? Are they even human? Yeah, Nicole, let's talk a little about these historic winter storms. What's that all about? How come what do they call it? Bomb storms or something? And you see all these lines in the sky from the airplanes, and then the weather changes, and then the next thing you know, you've got 50 inches of snow. Is that real? What's going on? What's going on? We have to band together. It's not helpful if you want to hate on the one person who's actually trying to turn this ship around. Stop. Just stop. Yeah, sold their souls, Maverick. Yeah, you're right. Cyclone bomb, that's it. Yeah, cyclone bomb. Geoengineering, sky dimming. Oh, let's talk about Bill Gates of hell. How about him? And what he did to his wife, sleeping around, getting STDs, and then wants to give her drugs and her smoothie or whatever. And then it comes out, and he's like, no, it's not true. But you know it's true. You know it's true because Melinda told us that it was true when it happened. She said it can't be intimate. You don't have intimacy. You don't have trust in your marriage. You don't have anything. She told us this years ago, and she got rid of Bill Gates of hell. And lots of information's coming out about him. How about that event 201 that he put on before the pandemic? These people need to be investigated, like big time. So, like I said, I don't like to talk about any of this, but I have been telling you guys for years, I have felt like I'm screaming into the ether. Nobody ever wanted to listen to me, and everyone's like, imagine if everyone was kind. Well, you know what? That's funny that you say that, because the people who think they're the kindest are actually the most violent. Did you know that? And you people who just don't understand, and you're still blaming Trump, like, get with the program here. Did you not see the past 4 years of the fake president and all the lies? And then the man that you wanted to vote for vice president, turns out he's the head of the most corrupt, fraud-ridden state in the country, or I don't know, that might be California too. He wants to run for president. Are you gonna vote for Gavin Newsom, you people? you fools. What's wrong with you? Yep, pure blood here too, Raymond. Right here. Yeah. So they've stolen from us. They've used and abused our children. They have. Do you know about Zorro Ranch? Do you know what that is? Did you know Epstein had this ranch? I think it was in Arizona, and he was trying to farm babies. They do these things. Yeah. Try it. They asked Virginia, him and Ghislaine asked Virginia Giuffre, or I don't know if asked is the right word, but let her know that she was gonna be used as an incubator. And that's why she escaped. Because she didn't want that. She loves her children, loved her children, and now she's dead. And I think that everybody who saw the worst stuff, they're no longer alive. How about that girl who had escaped somewhere and like ran out into the streets and started screaming, they're eating humans. Yeah. All that stuff happened, but you're gonna think it's not true, right? Because your TV told you it wasn't true. You poor people. There's some really bad stuff. There are some really bad people in our government, on your television. I say your television because I don't watch television. Um, I saw this quote one time. It said that some of the nicest people do bad things, but some of the meanest go to church every Sunday. Well, yeah, that's true. I'm not so worried about mean people. I'm worried about evil people, dark and evil people. Exactly, Maverick. I'm worried about people who have been, telling the rest of us what to do, and they are the most evil and disgusting ever in the whole world. So, yeah, and the lawlessness and now like the people coming on here who hate ICE because they want to keep the criminals in America. They love gang members. They love illegals. They love them. Yeah. What's wrong with you? Like, literally, what's wrong with you? They let the devil in our house, Rakester. They sure did. They opened up the doors wide and they said, everybody come on in. We need voters because nobody trusts Democrats anymore, except for some of you who, I got to wonder again. I have to wonder about anybody. At this point, if you are still hating Trump, why? We have to wonder about you. And I'm not saying everyone's a criminal, but some of y'all, please use your heads. We have to get together about this, okay? We can't let these people do this to us anymore and try to gaslight us into calling people like me crazy when I tell you what I see and what I've been seeing for 2 decades, actually. I've been watching this. I watched it from Switzerland. I watched it here. I've seen. I wouldn't say I have firsthand knowledge of the horrible things because I don't live my life like that and I don't know anybody like that. But like I said, I went to Comet Pizza. That place is gross. They let children there. I saw it. I saw it with my own eyes. It wasn't a nice place. Question for Libs. If you care about immigrants, why would you protect the criminals they came here to get away from? Great question, Nicole. Great question. And yeah, I feel sorry for people in England. I feel sorry for people in Australia too. Everybody, we're going through this whole oh, they call it the New World Order. They reject God and he has sent them strong delusion and will believe a lie and be damned. It's true. Oh, Deborah. Oh, sorry. You and Nicole, I keep getting you guys confused. Sorry about that. So anyway, I just wanted to have a little talk with you about this. I do want you to pay very close attention to all of the news and information coming out. You wanted the Epstein files, you get the Epstein files. Yeah. Wait, what's this, Barbara? You kept saying you would know that everything, you must be one of them because you're talking about what we really want to talk about. I walked away in mine, but it doesn't sound like you didn't. I don't know what that means. Sorry, I don't understand that. There is evil everywhere. You're right, Amy. But we don't need to accept it. We don't need to facilitate it. We don't need to look the other way. I think we need to be very clear about what we will accept and what we will not accept. And they have to get arrested. Well, they arrested Don Lemon, so there's that, Deb. We'll get there. It's a breaking point right now. Those who were screaming about the Epstein files, now they're out and they don't want to believe in the truth. But the truth is out. And it's coming out every day, more and more and more. So please look at the news as much as you can. I'm sorry, I know it's disgusting. I know you're going to find out things you never wanted to hear and you never wanted to know. But you need to know this. And you need to understand why President Trump is doing the things that he's doing in order to save the world. It really is about saving the world. So one more thing I wanted to talk about. I tried to look up pizza fence on Facebook, and it was impossible. You can't put those words in Facebook. And we do now know that the head of Meta, Zuckerberg, well, I'm not on Facebook, so I don't care. Zuckerberg is in the Epstein files. Oh, and how about Zoran Mondami? He's in the Epstein files too. His mother, get this one, she was married to a man and his name was Epstein, but it's no relation, or so they say. That doesn't matter. Zoran Mondami's mother, she was a friend of Epstein's, and she used to hang out with Ghislaine and do all that good stuff. So, yeah, the guy that is the communist mayor of New York City, he's in the Epstein files, but they're all in there. All of the really dirty players who have been telling you what great people they are, and then, also telling you that you have to accept all the foreigners in your country and you have to give them all your money and feel sorry for them because, they've had such hard lives, don't you know? What is the dirtiest of players? I would say Clintons. I think the Clintons are the dirtiest of the dirty. I think they're really up there. I want to see that perp walk really more than anything. Who has dozens of friends die of suicide? That's right, Luke. He stopped 8 wars. We have to band together. It doesn't help us if we're always at odds with each other. We the people. And you're now finding out that there is this other elite class, if you didn't know it already, and these people think that you are not much better than a cow or a gnat or whatever kind of animal you might pick to be like a sheep or a somebody to listen to them, do what they want you to do. They can take your kids, they can warp your children online, they can take all your money, they can steal everything from you. You can't even answer your phone anymore because it's probably a scammer. They have literally destroyed our country and destroyed our lives and made us now, we believe nothing, AI on top of it. Then they're like, oh, you see pictures of these people? Oh, it's probably AI. None of it's true, right? All of it's a mess. Do the research. Everyone needs to do the research for themselves. Figure it out. And if you think that everyone's really good and, just because they were on the plane and the island doesn't mean they knew anything. Well, I think it depends on how many times. Like, for instance, let's talk about Trump. So when you hear that Trump is on the plane, he always had his family with him on the plane. Always. He never was on the plane by himself or with unidentified women. He always had his family on. And then he disassociated himself from Epstein as soon as he found out what Epstein was all about. I mean, of course, I'm a little surprised that it took him that long, but these people were not as sloppy back then as they came to be. And don't forget, they were hiding some really deep, disgusting secrets. And they used a lot of methods of subversion tactics to hide their nefarious ways from everybody. So you can't really blame President Trump for not knowing, but when he found out, then he cut it off. So, and who was the one who turned Epstein in? It was Trump during his administration. So, say what you want about him, but then we have Bill Clinton, and he was on that plane and on that island, but especially on the plane many times by himself with young girls, or Ghislaine. I understand they had a thing going on. Ghislaine Maxwell also had a helicopter license. International laws don't require a log to be kept. Good point, good point. For helicopter rides, like plane rides, they had a helicopter pad on the mainland and Little St. James. Exactly. So, yep. They had a million ways of hiding what they were doing. But they were doing it. And anybody who doesn't want to believe it, go off into your hole and deny the truth as much as you want. Say I'm crazy. Do what you want. I don't care. I don't care. You can say whatever you want about me. But I've been watching this for a long, long time. And it is very real. And there are people out there, you can't even imagine how disgusting they are. Anthony Weiner, how about him? Do you think that was fake? Yeah, going after young girls. And Huma Abedin, his ex-wife, who's she married now to? Alex Soros. Yeah, all those people. Yeah. Say whatever you want. I don't care. I won't watching it. I'm not stupid. And if you think that I'm telling whatever, I mean, I couldn't even make this stuff up if I wanted to. Yeah, talk about the frazzle thing. Exactly, Deborah. But they won't believe that one until it's like right in their faces. And there's evidence. There's a lot of evidence. So, no, some people can't handle the truth, Fred. But truth is out, and it's growing bigger every day. Remember, Biden flew a pedo flag at the White House, pushed drag queen story hour, and groomed and mutilated kids in school. You know what? Not just that, Deb, but how about the fact that people say stuff about RFK Jr.? He's not qualified. When the last Health and Human Services leader was a man in a dress who was a pediatrician and believed that it was good and right to mutilate children. That's who Biden chose as his Health and Human Services guy. And they talk about RFK Jr., who is buff and fit, and he's trying to teach us how to eat the right foods, because we've been lied to about that one for decades now as well, that stupid food pyramid. Oh yeah, make sure you eat as many carbs as you can. Yeah, that's good for you. So yeah, say nasty things about RFK Jr. He doesn't need to be a doctor. He sees the writing on the wall. But you all preferred the TRA, the man in the dress with the long flowing blonde hair. What was his name? Richard Levine. Yeah. Sometimes I fight with the AI about stuff like that, and I called it out about Richard Levine, and it went through and it said something she this, she that, and I was like, don't you even use pronouns with this person, Richard Levine, because that's going against my First Amendment, or sorry, my First Amendment right to tell the truth. And I see a man, that's a man. In California, if I misgender someone, which isn't even a real thing either, because if you say that someone's a looks like a man and you call them a man, but they think they're a woman, you go to jail. That's against your First Amendment. That's a really disgusting law right there. And that's what they did to everyone in California. Do you think that's right? That you should go to jail simply for not complying with somebody's delusion? Yeah. Hey, when I was a kid, I had anorexia, and I weighed like 80 pounds, and I thought I was obese. I thought I was super fat, right? And if everyone around me said, "You're right, Jill, you are so fat. You should keep dieting," I'd be dead. Just saying. Just saying. Anyway, you're going to find out in the next coming weeks, months, maybe. I don't know. I don't think it's going to take that long. I think now the spigot is turned on and the truth is flying out of it. And I, for one, finally feel like I'm going to be vindicated. I know not yet, because there's still fools on here who want to say I'm wrong and dumb and I don't know what's going on. Um, I don't know who's gone to jail over misgendering, but I know it happens. It's a law, Daniel. It's an actual law. You can look it up. Some people don't think for themselves. They let others hand them a script and tell them what to say. Yeah, that would be most of your elected officials, like, Biden. He definitely was just reading scripts and he couldn't even read them right. Remember Biden? He'd be reading his teleprompter and then all of a sudden he'd get to the bottom and he'd say continue. Like, so stupid. Oh my gosh. Anybody who comes out right now and is like, I hate Trump, he's so terrible, he's a liar. I had to laugh at you. I had to be like, really? Did you love Biden? Was he your guy? Did you think he was a good president? How'd you like that switcheroo he pulled at the end there? I'm not gonna run now. Give it to Kamala and Tim Walz. Really? Did you fall for that? Did you vote for Tim Walz and Kamala Harris? Did you do it? Yeah. Tell me how crazy I am. Oh man. You guys. I mean, I know most people who are watching my show right now, you agree with me because you have common sense and you've been watching what's going on, but you keep seeing these trolls pop up or whatever who, like, literally, are you still like shocked that they don't get it? Still coughing. If you convince a man against his will, when he leaves, he's ignorant still. Good one, Bill. Oh man. Behold a pale horse indeed. Functional illiteracy runs rampant in America, unfortunately. And you know why that is? Because they use our schools to teach the kids that they might not be the right gender, or that if they're white, that they're racist, and if they're not white, that they're allowed to I don't know, get one over on the white kids or whatever. It's they teach racism. They teach them that God made a mistake and they are not the right gender. That's what they teach them in schools, and that's why they can't read. And the other reason why they can't read too is because they have the story time. They let the trannies read to them. So you don't learn how to read if someone reads to you. You got to read yourself. Yeah, children in America have been under attack for a long, long, long time. Yes, reading and writing and arithmetic are now racist. Exactly. So we have to hope that all of this like turns around in the next year. I don't know how much longer we can go on with these complete idiots who are fighting against this. You people who hate ICE, you people who want to defend your local schmapist and your local border crosser. Like, what's wrong with you? You're not a kind, compassionate person. Anybody who thinks that defending criminals from prosecution is a good idea might have rocks in their heads. So anyway, Oh, Sula, because I'm saying, I am joking in a way, but I'm not. Do you know that the kids can't read in America anymore? If you have children in school, and my children are older, but they stopped even teaching them how to read cursive and how to write cursive. Back in the 90s. Wait, my kids graduated 20 2012, 2014, like that. My kids were in school in the 90s. Yeah, or they were born in the 90s, sorry. So they were in school at the turn of the century. And they stopped teaching them how to write cursive. The children in America cannot read the Declaration of Independence because it's in cursive. And they can't read that anymore. Who thought that was a good idea? And ChatGPT lies and doesn't. It's not helpful. It's contributing to making people more stupid. So, no, I'll bet they don't say the Pledge of Allegiance anymore. I don't know for sure, but I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah, yeah, Gerald, you were the last ones to learn how to write in cursive. Yeah, they want the people to be stupid. Stupid and sick. That's the other thing, sick. And they've taken everything that we hold dear and destroyed it. The food in our country, we're eating chemicals. They call it what is it? Processed PFAS. Wait, ultra processed UPFs. Ultra processed foods, I believe. Today's kids have been deprived of quality education. They were convinced they were born in the wrong body. Exactly. Yes, Greg, it's infuriating. Analog clocks. Yeah. Cursive writing and analog clocks. Yeah. And food. So dangerous. Ultra processed food with chemicals in it that are illegal in every other country. Did you know that high fructose corn syrup is illegal in every country except for the United States? And most of these ultra processed foods are being fed to children. And that's why you see really fat children now. When I grew up in the 70s and the 80s, I didn't see a lot of fat kids. There was like one fat kid in your class, remember? Most kids weren't fat. And now, most kids are. I'm not fasting today. I'm actually taking a break from fasting because I've had a cold and I'm just trying to be healthy. I got a little bit too, here in Florida, it got really cold and the heat came on in the house and, in the dry air and everything. And I caught a cold, but I'm okay. I'm okay. I'm just a little bit congested, but not bad anymore. I was really like snarfling, running out my nose. But I'm okay. I'm okay. I am well. I am. I feel great now. I'm so much better. It wasn't the worst cold in the world. It was just annoying. And my friend Lorena was visiting, and I didn't miss a beat though. It didn't stop me from doing anything. I felt like crap for a little bit, but I'm okay. McDonald's fries have 19 sugars and syrups, chemicals in them. That's right, Chad. That's right. They've destroyed our lives with food. They feed us poison. Children think some really restaurant and got some lemongrass soup. That was really good. And the spiciness also helps when you're sick. Um, yeah, it isn't real corn exactly, Bo. The government won't ban corn syrup because we subsidize corn farmers. That's true. Well, they do use corn in the high fructose corn syrup, but it's a lot of other things in it. Sula, the missing children are in factories. They are being abused in brothels. They are being used for their organs. Did you know that there's another one? Another one we can talk about. The theft of people's organs. I'll tell you guys another thing that I know. I know a lot of bad things. I don't like to talk about this normally. I don't want to talk about this ever again. I just have to get it off my chest because, in the past I've been called a lot of names for telling the truth and told I'm crazy and I believe lies and all this stuff, but it's all true. And I'm not going to deny it. And I'm going to talk about it. Okay. Um, remember when the Las Vegas shooting occurred and hundreds of people were killed? And they told us it was one dude in a hotel room. Meanwhile, people were at this harvest festival. They were getting shot at from everywhere. They said that there were actually like helicopters shooting at them. I mean, the people on the ground, the witnesses said that there was a lot of stuff, a lot of fire coming at them from all directions. I was actually writing daily news for an outlet that day, and I was covering that story, and it was like, to me, it was 9/11 all over again. I was so horrified by what had happened, but I learned a lot about what was going on. So, they told us it was this one guy who I think he was dead before the shooting even started. I don't think he even had anything to do with it, if you recall. But here's what really bothered me. There were a lot of people killed, hundreds. And there were people who went through Las Vegas right after this mass murder and said to the people who had just lost loved ones, you might not have enough money for a funeral or whatever. We can help you. We'll give you money for your loved one's body, and we'll cremate it or whatever. That isn't what was going on. They were buying the dead bodies and shipping them over to China. Did you know that the Chinese buy the people? It's true. So, anyway, please look that up. Do all your own research and everything. But, yeah, they absolutely did. Yeah, that absolutely did happen in Las Vegas. There are multiple shooters. It was all Bravo machine gun. You can tell by the audio analysis. Exactly. So, they were buying people's bodies, and literally, like, they might have cut off a hand and cremated it, and that's what you got. But the rest of the bodies were taken to China. It's a real thing. Look it up. Look it all up for yourself. Don't take my word for it. But don't call me crazy either, because I researched all of this. And every word I say is true. I don't have any reason to lie. And I don't even get paid, okay? I put myself out here. I tell you guys what I know. I don't even get a salary for this. I'm working here on YouTube, and I'm making like what I make $180 this month. It's not very much. It doesn't even pay my phone bill. But I keep doing it because I believe in it. Because I believe in telling the truth. I believe in being honest. I believe in being a journalist. I'm an actual card-carrying journalist. Went to journalism school wrote for actual newspapers, magazines, all of it. I'm the real thing. And I don't believe that in my job I should get rich. I don't even expect to, because if you're telling the truth, you're not going to make a lot of money. It's only the lies, because lies are expensive, but the truth, that's for free. So this is my podcast, Deb. You're watching it right now. This is my podcast, and I'm not beholden to anybody. And there is nobody that I owe. And if you do want to support my show and what I do, I am also an author, a publisher. I've written 2 books. I'm working on 3 and 4, really 5 and 6. I'm always working on something. I just published a book for somebody else. I work very hard. My website is jillbooks.com, so you can go over there and check out my work. And I'm not selling anybody else's anything. I'm just me, one woman show, all by my lonesome, doing what I believe is the right thing to do. I can't be on Good Morning America Justice. They don't like people like me. Maybe in a few years, people will realize that I am who I am. But until then, I have to do this all by myself and without making money. And I managed to live a very wonderful life without being a wealthy person. I get by. I get by the best I can. But I'm here to tell you the truth. And if I suffer for it, if I am cut off of YouTube, I've been kicked off of Facebook a few times now. They even falsely accused me of adult sexual exploitation because that's what I do. Anyway, yeah, they'll do anything they can to defame me and make me look bad because I'm telling you the truth. But they can't take anything away from me because I don't have any. I don't have anything at all. Just my talent, just my skills, and that's enough for me. And I'll get by. So thank you, JillBooks.com. Thank you very much. Check it out if you want to buy a book. I'd be super happy to send it to you. I've got a bunch of books in for a while now. Oh, thank you, Justice. Hospital by Me has a section called CPAP Machines for Kids. What? With Chuck E. Cheese color scheme? Oh my gosh. I don't know. It's like we can't trust anybody. However, you can trust me. And anybody who comes on my show and says crap, you know what? I don't know. You're spinning your wheels because I'm just going to keep being myself and I'm never going to back down. I'm never going to shut up. I'm just going to keep telling the truth. So, I'm 60 years old. I simply don't care anymore. I'm part of that We Do Not Care club. Say whatever you want. Donna, did you just text me dinner? Anyway, you guys, I do this because I love my country. And I left this country in the 90s and became a Swiss citizen because I was very disturbed by just the food thing alone. That's what was my first clue that my country did not love me very much. And then we can talk about something else that I've been writing about that my first book is about, my adoption. Oh, that's another one. Oh my goodness. Adopted kids in America. Buying children. Adopting children to cure infertility. Just let us see your face. That's another one that's really been blowing my mind. My book, my second book is called Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? And I know I do, Vicky. I love you. Um, so it's about my adoption as a baby. And the weird thing about my adoption is the fact that my biological father stalked me, literally stalked me. Used a private detective and everything. Showed up in my dorm in college, did not tell me who he was, pretended that just a friend of the family, you know. And the thing about being adopted is you can't trick me because I grew up with the whole world tricking. You know, we're allowed to know where I came from. I was not permitted to have a past as an adopted child. When you're adopted, you get a new birth certificate that looks like your parents gave birth to you, but they didn't. And you never really ever get to be yourself. That's an adoption. And people out there who are so upset about their adoptions because honestly, it is not nice to separate mothers and babies. And I understand that there are people who shouldn't be parents. Absolutely. But one of the things that is really just is the fact that, when you have a dog and it gives birth to puppies, they don't want you to take the puppies away from the mother dog for like 8 weeks. There's this list for all the animals, like even birds and every animal. a new baby, even if it comes out of an egg or whatever, they should be with their mothers for the first several weeks of their lives. The only animal that gets separated from their mother on the day of their birth is human children. And I was taken away from my mother. My mother never got to hold me. I just was I was born and whisked away. And she told me, I only know this because I was stalked by my father, mind you. My brother and sister were adopted, and they don't know where they came from. But I I was taken from my mother on the day I was born, and I never realized like what a trauma that was to me. I gave birth myself, and my daughter was mad at her. I was like, why are you crying? Your mother's right here. What's wrong with you? And I realized that was my trauma rearing its ugly head at the birth of my child. So yeah, and it's got to be horrible for a mother to give birth and be separated from her baby. And so my mother said that she did see me as I was leaving the hospital, and she was sick and she had to stay in the hospital, but she saw a nurse taking me away, and she wanted to hold me. Nurse acted like she was a criminal. So it's really kind of the most horrible thing, separating mothers and babies. And it is I don't want to say born because he didn't come, like, I was adopted at 14 days. So I was in foster care for 14 days. My brother was in foster care for like 12 days. And then my sister was only in foster care, I think, for 7 days. They made it shorter every time. But, that's my brother. When they got him, he was not in a good way. He had welts on his little feet from kicking the bed, and he was inconsolable. Those of you who have parents and have mothers and love your mothers, oh, 2 years, Raymond, that's horrible. But I want you to think about people like Raymond and me, and think about your own mom. And how would you feel if you were never allowed to see your mom or know her or anything? It's hard. And then they came up with these open adoptions, and apparently that's not any better either, because people are still not treated like they should be. Like, you have a right to know who you are. You have a right to be with your own parents, but adopted kids don't have that right. So anyway, I wrote my book about it, and how it feels to be told that you're chosen and you're super special and super loved, but somebody loved you so much that they gave you away. Now that's a very confusing thing for a child to hear. But that's what my book's about. My second book. My third book, well, this is a sequel to Do You Think About Me on My Birthday? And it's called 7 Years in Switzerland. And it's about me moving to Switzerland because I was so disillusioned with not just the country, living in America and watching all the people get fat and stupid. And he told me that the parents who raised me were poor slobs. He called them poor slobs. And I was like, I love those poor slobs. They were flawed too, but they gave us a good life, and I'm grateful. And I know too, because of my adoption, because he stalked me, that my biological mother she gave me up for my own good. And they say that, and you don't know if it's true, but I know for sure that my mother did the right thing for me, because this guy, yeah, not a good man. But yeah, you're right, Emmy. Everyone needs their mommy, and taking babies away from their mothers when they're born is really tough. Raymond says, I got adopted into the freaky world of Hollywood. What? Raymond, what? Oh my gosh, you probably have a book in you. Let me know, I can help. That's another thing that I do, is I help people get published. Well, I publish you. I do it all by myself because I can make a book all alone. I learned how to do that. So I can do everything by myself. And that includes publishing other people's books and my own books. And so I really do try to be very self-sufficient in every way that I can. Donna says it's 45 degrees in Florida, at least in Jupiter. It's probably the same. I'm in Fort Myers right now. Raymond says, I've been wanting to talk to you about a book. I really do have one. I believe that, Raymond. So go over to my website and let's make an appointment. Let's talk about your book. I really want to work with someone who's adopted. The second book, the first book that I published that wasn't mine, is for a man named Joshua Daniel Hayes. In his book, he wishes he was adopted. He was raised by very neglectful parents, and he had child abuse because his mother was an alcoholic and a drug addict, and would get him and his sister into bad situations. So, it's tough. It is really tough being a child. And, the most vulnerable children in the world are the ones who don't have parents. Even when you're adopted, you have to be incredibly lucky to get good parents, because it doesn't seem like there's a lot of them out there. Raymond's Journey to Tinseltown could be good. Yes, Greg, they must be held accountable. So anyway, yeah, I would love to work with you, Raymond. And I think that we all need to be cognizant of everyone's going through their own thing, right? So when you feel the need to lash out at someone and say something nasty to them, someone you don't even know, like on a show like this, or come on and, tell me how stupid you think I am. That's uncalled for, If you don't like what I'm saying, you can always go somewhere else. You don't have to listen to me. And if you want to listen and you want to be angry about what I'm saying, please keep it to yourself. Because when you show us who you are, with your words, or even if you just want to say something to make me feel like an object or demean somehow, please think about what you do and how you affect other people. I am not a Hollywood girl. I'm a real person. I'm an actual human being. And there's nothing special about me. I'm just one of we the people. But I love my country and I love the people in it, and I'm trying to help all of you. And one of the things I really wish you would do is stop looking at each other like we're enemies. We are not the enemies. We have enemies. And they're they're hoping that we'll all fight with each other instead of fighting them. So, yes, let's let real people, be great again. I don't use any AI on my show, although I talk about AI and I'll teach you guys about AI of what I learned. But in general, always, it's all about real. Deb says, I teach my kids. I don't value the opinion of people who talk about me and not to me. Good one. That's the way to be. So everybody does have a responsibility to speak in a way that, some people say words are spells. Even speaking about yourself badly can cause negativity to come into your life. So if you want to speak badly about other people, think about how much worse that is. So try always, even when you talk about yourself, even if you do something really stupid, have grace with yourself and say, we'll do better next time. But don't call yourself stupid and don't be mean to yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, then you don't love anyone else. Okay, Raymond. Raymond already checked out my website. Cool. So I'm guessing you liked what you saw. It's not super like professional. Like, it is. I am a professional. I'm just, I'm doing the best I can. Like, I do everything alone. I don't hire anybody to do my websites. I don't hire anybody to do anything for me. I do it all by myself because I'm a perfectionist and I want everything to be for me. No AI, none of that. Although sometimes AI is helpful with editing and stuff like that. You can use it right, but you don't want to let AI write for you ever. Emotional vampires feed off of good souls. I think we have it worse than emotional vampires in the world these days. Don't do what you just now told us not to do. You're fabulous. Keep your head up. Okay, Raymond. Good. I love you. You guys are great. Seriously, most of the people who watch the Beach Report, you're all very, very special. All right, you guys. I gotta go to sleep. I'm still recovering from my cold. You can hear it in my voice, and it's almost gone. I'm gonna be okay. And I'll look forward to talking to you, Raymond. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful rest of your evening. It was great to hang out with you. So we'll see you tomorrow on the next Beach Report. Ciao for now.